What's up everyone, welcome to After Talks Movies and welcome to my review of Honey Don't. This is the latest movie from director Ethan Coen that he co-wrote with wife and longtime collaborator Tricia Cooke. And this is the second movie in the couple's planned lesbian B-movie trilogy, which started with 2024's Drive Away Dolls, which also starred Margaret Qualley. This time around, Qualley plays a character named Honey O'Donoghue, a small-town private detective looking into a young woman's mysterious death. Her investigation, however, leads her to a cult-like church run by a sleazy pastor played by Chris Evans. Before I jump into the review, do me a favor, make sure you subscribe, that way you can keep up with everything I'm posting on the channel, including all of the movie reviews, entertainment news, and more.
Why is a private investigator looking into a traffic fatality?
What can you tell me about
Do you drink?
Heavily, it's a point of pride.
Should you and I discuss this over a drink?
Tuesdays I dry out.
Today's Wednesday.
Today is Tuesday.
I was not a fan of Drive Away Dolls, Coen and Cooke's zany, half-baked take on a road trip movie with a revolving door of odd and uninteresting characters. To me, it was a huge misfire. But still, I went into Honey Don't with an open mind, this being their take on a classic noir, but unfortunately, this movie isn't very good either. I'll start off by saying Margaret Qualley is fantastic. She looks and sounds like she stepped out of the pages of a pulpy detective novel, and she does a wonderful job of channeling the hard-boiled detective types from the 1940s and the 1950s. You know, the kind who like their women and whiskey, and she likes both. And she delivers her dialogue and one-liners in a straightforward, no-nonsense way. The cinematography is also very good here. It captures the starkness of this version of Bakersfield, California, which is shown as a small, dry, dusty desert town. And the movie has this very 70s movie-inspired look. And the costumes are also great, especially when it comes to Honey, who is dressed in the movie's sharpest outfits. But those are probably the only positive things I can say about Honey Don't, because everything else about this movie is pretty much a mess. The story is all over the place. There's a mystery that's introduced, but the movie seems less interested in doing anything with that, and instead spends its time with all these other plot points that really don't go anywhere. Not everything ties together here, and so the ending really doesn't offer a payoff. And I wouldn't really even call it an ending because it just seemed so incomplete. This movie's just under 90 minutes, but it felt much longer because of how aimless the story is. And I can't even say this movie needed more time to flesh out its characters or to tighten up the story, because it had the time. It just didn't know how to use it wisely. There's a good chunk of this movie that's devoted to just the opening credits. You get about 10 minutes of this movie where it's just names appearing over shots of Bakersfield. The characters, with the exception of Honey, are one note and not very interesting. There's little to no character development here, and most of the characters just kind of show up and do stuff with very little motivation, and there's not really a lot of growth or anything here. This is unfortunately true of the pastor character, played by Chris Evans. I like that Evans continues to try to distance himself from the squeaky clean Captain America character, and he seems to be having fun playing a guy who's more interested in sleeping with the female members of his congregation than he is in saving souls. But I honestly couldn't get behind this character because it was just so flat. And I honestly couldn't get behind his performance because it was just so over the top. Aubrey Plaza plays a police officer who begins an affair with Honey, and she has nice chemistry with Qualley, and she's great at the deadpan delivery. But there's not much to her character, so there's not much that Plaza can do to elevate that. Honey Don't has some fun moments, including a couple of witty gags, but most of the humor, especially the dark humor here, just felt lazy. Overall, I thought Honey Don't was a letdown. This movie took an interesting concept and a solid cast and squandered both. There were elements that worked and worked well, but there were even more elements that didn't work. And the whole time I was watching this movie, I kept asking myself, where is this going? And ultimately the answer was pretty much nowhere. I don't know what Coen and Cooke have planned for the conclusion of this trilogy, but I hope that the final movie is much better than the last two. So those are my thoughts on Honey Don't, which is out in theaters right now. Do you plan on seeing it? Let me know in the comments. While you're here, like and subscribe, and of course, stick around for more videos like this.